Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Coach Marchman Show. I'm Adam Bell, along with Sammy Hendricks and Indians baseball head coach Thad Marchman. Sammy, take it.
All right, Coach, thanks for joining us here this afternoon so we can get this coaches show in. First one we've had to get through all year.
Yeah, happy to be here.
Normally I'll have a list of stuff that I wrote down to talk about. I didn't get one today, so just kind of bear with me. I said you got some stuff down. We'll just jump right into this week's series between Lanier County. That's a big one. You know, this is the first week of the three-game series with region teams. You know, the Tuesday game and then doubleheaders on Fridays. Big win last night for the team. Crazy ball game. Big region win. Got two more on Friday. Just kind of give me, talk a little bit about last night's game and to come from behind with the guys and the attitudes they had when they got behind.
Yeah, well, Lanier's a pretty good team, and the thing about them that's scary is they're a really young team as well. So they're just only going to get better, every time we see them for the next 3 years. The majority of their team are sophomores. But for us, the best thing about us is, there's a lot of things that happened in the beginning of the game that just didn't go our way, whether it be a bad call or just a mistake, an error, or something like that. And credit to Lanier, they were able to a bunch of hits together right there in the beginning. They had 7 hits in the first 2 innings, which is really good for any team, And we fell behind, and to these guys' credit, they found a way to get back in the game. We started to execute a little bit better, had a little bit better plan at the plate. We were able to get some people on base, and eventually we were able to push ahead with that big double from Isaiah. I think that's what pushed us on top. But Ethan Crawford had his first home run. David Walters had his first home run. So there were some big moments that happened throughout the whole game, and we needed them all to win that game. The game was a whole lot closer than the score ended up saying it was.
Right. Well, you always, and you've talked about this before, these 3-game weeks where we play the same team 3 times. This is really I think it's kind of a test of how good your pitching is.
Sure.
Colton pitched last night. He struggled a little bit, and Ethan came in and done a great job in relief last night. That held Lanier County in check. So going into Friday, what's the rotation looking like on Friday when we get over to Lanier?
Well, the thing about Colton is you just can't have your best stuff every time out. Although we'd like to, and I know he wants to, but sometimes you just don't have your best stuff. And like I said, Lanier's a good team, and they put a bunch of hits together. But nevertheless, he was still able to keep us in the game. It didn't get away from him.
Right.
And it is a credit to Ethan being a freshman to come in, big time game, big time moment, and he was able to rise to the occasion. I'm very proud of that. So I'm very happy for him. He ended up getting the win for the game too, so that's good too.
Right.
As far as the series comes up, we prepare for games like that because we know that we're going to need multiple arms. And so, going into Friday, we have Griffin ready and we have Cole ready. We also have Hayes and David and Garrett all ready to go, and Chase as well. So we have 5 or 6 arms who are ready to go, who I'd feel confident putting them in the game, in a big game like those 2 coming up, and they are going to be big games, especially on the road. So, we're not quite sure how the rotation is going to work out as of right now, but I have an idea. But I know that all of those guys could possibly be involved.
And that was my next question. For the last 2 years, we pretty much knew who game 1, 2, and 3 in that week series starters going to be. So I guess that you just kind of playing out by ear, see how hot the next up pitcher is, or how you going to do that.
Well, Colton Cruz is clearly our incumbent number 1. He comes in as the number 1 guy, and he still holds that spot. He's our guy, and we're going to go with him for as long as we can. Then after that, you feel like you have a good idea of what it's going to be. Griffin threw the most innings after from last year. Gant, Ian, and Colton. Griffin was the guy with the next most amount of innings. So you think of him as the number 2 guy. And then, Ethan's come in and did a great job, especially in a region game. He's done a good job on the JV level. And so, he's a starter. But, recently Cole Crawford has really thrown well. So, now he factors in as one of those starting spots. So we have a good idea of who our starting 3 or 4 are, and that's really good that we have that idea, that we have 4 guys that we think that we can go out there and start. And what makes you a starter is that you can run late into the game. You can take us into the fourth or the fifth with a chance to win, and that's what starters are supposed to do. So that's what we're looking for our guys to do, and I feel fortunate that we have a few guys who can do it.
Right. Now, we and Adam talked about it. You know, we was really expecting, just from what we seen last year, we was expecting, you know, Griffin and probably Cole being the 2 and 3 starters. And as Cole had arm issues, we just wonder why he hadn't really has come in and started as much as he has and hadn't thrown much. Or are the other guys just being hot and he hadn't had his chance to get in there?
No, we just trust him. And so, you know, we got to have somebody we can trust to come in when things aren't going well. And, you know, he's a senior and he's a competitor and he provides good leadership for this team. So we got to have somebody we can trust when things aren't going so well. So that's the main reason why, you know, he hasn't necessarily seen a starting role when it comes to pitching, because we need someone that we can count on to come off the bench and help us when we're struggling, or help us when we're down, or come into a tight spot and the moment's not going to be too big. And so we have all the confidence in the world in Cole to start. But I think it says a little bit more about him, the fact that when we need it the most, we're counting on him to come in and do the job.
Right. In terms of the defensive side, you know, that was defense. I know that you thrive on defense in baseball, and defense this year. You know, we've had a few errors, but defense, I think overall we have played great defense. Look, you're talking about Ethan a little bit of third base. He's played a great third base when he's been in there at third. Some of the other guys, the outfielders, have played really good. Talk a little bit about the defense.
You know, the defense is very important, and you know, people ask me, how are you going to be next year? How are you going to be? And I'm like, well, you know, we should be pretty good defensively, you know, because just kind of unsure about the other stuff. You know, but once again, you know, Cole has stepped up in another way by playing a good third base. He's done a great job at third base. And, you know, we've asked Ethan to play second base and third base as a freshman, so that's a big deal. Griffin's played a really good shortstop, but we don't expect anything less from him. But, you know, I don't want to fail to mention Hayes Johnson. You know, Hayes is a very good outfielder, and I would love to have him out there the whole time. Because I just think he's a really good outfielder. But he has played second base when we needed to, and he's done a really good job of it, and we haven't missed a beat. And so, once again, you know, he's a senior. He knows what he's doing. He knows the plays. He knows where to be. And, you know, I value that a lot, and I'm really proud of the way he's done. And then, you know, you got Garrett Vickers, who kind of came out of nowhere. Not only is he producing at the plate, but he's really playing a good playing a good outfield too, and he's made a couple of great catches. He knows what to do with the ball after he gets it, and you know, without Cole being able to play third base, Hayes being able to play multiple position, Garrett stepping in as a solid outfield option for us, a good outfield option for us, we're not in the position we are right now. So, you know, everybody has really pitched in to help us to this moment, you know, where we are right now, and to help us win games like we did last night.
Right. Going back to the region, and we talked about this last night, looking at it, you know, we're still early in the region schedule. You know, we're leading, and you got a surprise ATCO team at second place right now with Lanier and Clinch 3 and 4, I believe, right now. What have you seen from ATCO that you like that they're surprising people with?
They got a new coach. You know, they got a new coach, and he's demanding of them, and you know, he's going to get the discipline under control, and he's going to put people where they need to be. And I have so much respect for the coach they had before. I thought he worked really hard, but it's, you know, sometimes a change just helps you catapult you in the right direction, and I think that's what's happened for them. So I expect them to be, you know, a tough out. Clearly, I mean, they're playing well right now, and we just can't afford to take anybody lightly. We got to give everybody respect. We got to play our best every time out, and like I tell the guys, you know, sometimes we're going to have to count on somebody different all the time, and so we just need people to continue to step up and elevate their game, and you know, you know how it is. I mean, it's great to be first in the region. I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way. But there's some pressure that comes along with it, you know, to maintain that spot, and we just need our guys to prepare every day for the toughest possible situation. So when that situation comes, it's not so big.
So about halfway through the season now, or 5 or 6 games into region play, I think I figured the other day we still got about 15 games to play. How do you see the team at this halfway point of the season? How do you pick their performance right now, where they're at?
Well, I'll tell you the honest truth is normally after the game I'm giving them the business. even after wins, because I just see things that we're doing that I feel like that we should pick them up quicker. Not necessarily the hard stuff like diving in the hole and getting a throw off and getting a guy at first. That's tough. Hitting a good curveball with 0-2 count on the outside corner. That's tough. It's just some of the little things like proper mechanics, foundational baseball stuff, base running things that we just having a hard time grasping, or we're just not remembering, approaches at the plate that if you just do this and you told what to do, then I just think we'll be a little more successful. But listen, you have to be proud of a team who's 11-1.
Right.
And
yeah, absolutely.
And but I think that the best way to do it is just continue to expect more from them, because that's what it says on the back of our shirt, and that's kind of the stuff we preach all the time. Is you just got to do a little bit more all the time and learn the game a little bit better and push yourself a little bit more. I tell them all the time, like, if you're not pushing yourself, then someone's got to push you. So how's it going to go here? So you have to give them a good grade because of the success that we've had so far. I felt like even the Brantley game that we lost, we just played very poorly,
right,
and we couldn't overcome it. We played so bad, like we just couldn't overcome it offensively. And and I don't really believe in good losses, but you got to give the team a good grade, because especially after last night was the first time I was like, listen, guys, that's a great job, man. I mean, there's a lot of adversity going on. We did a lot of bad stuff.
A lot of ups and downs in that game.
Right. We did a lot of bad stuff, but the fact of the matter is somehow we found a way in the end to push in front and then hold that spot, and so I was really proud of that.
Yeah, I think that the three big minimum changers were, well, for Lanier County is when they got up 3 or 4 runs, and then we come back and there was a couple, I guess, controversial balk calls that weren't called during the game. Ethan steps up and hits a big home run.
True.
That gets momentum back to us, and then they come back and get runs and go back up again. Then we have that big 5th inning, which changed the whole momentum for the rest of the game, I think.
Yeah, well, so Ethan hits the home run to push us in front, I think 2-1.
Yep.
Right, and then they come back and score a couple runs or whatever, and then we come back and we don't get them all back, but David hits the home run.
That's right.
That just gives us a little boost of confidence. And it's not about hitting a home run. It's just about a good at bat, hitting the ball hard, which is what we want them all to do. And the fact that the ball left the yard is great, but a home run just instant offense. But those hits when you're down tend to find more hits behind them, and those two things really help to push us forward. And then we started to have a little more success on the bases just because of the way that we wanted to play last night. And in the end, like I said before, we had some good at bats where guys were managing the strike zone properly, not swinging at balls out of the strike zone. And I think we had a hit batsman or two, and that helped us a lot. And then Isaiah had the big hit, and that pushed us in front. And then we're able to get a few more after that. So it's just a big win. Like I said, what makes it big is it was a good team. Lanier's a good team, and also we just overcame that deficit. And it just looked like nothing was going our way. I mean, even I think it was David. But someone hit a laser beam to right center field, and that dude tracked it down.
Yep.
It was a great catch, a great play, and it was like, oh my goodness, like it's gonna be that type of game, So, and then I thought we got a guy out at first base, and they called him safe, and then the 3 pickoffs, it's just like, so there's 3 opportunities that we didn't have a chance to score because we got picked off. Or so to speak, but sometimes you just gotta. Nothing you can do about it. You know what I mean? You just gotta find a way to get more runs to them, and I was just proud that we were able to do that.
But this is high school baseball, and most of the time you don't see a whole lot of home runs in baseball from one particular team. We were talking about it. I think it was one game last week. The team had only hit 2 home runs as a team going into last night. We hit 2 last night. Does the lack of power we have, does it concern you at all? I mean, there's more than one way to score runs, and we know that, but does the lack of power we have, does it concern you at all?
Not at all.
Guys?
Not one bit. If you could ask me what is the thing that I'm concerned with the absolute least, it would be the number of home runs we've hit. That means nothing to me. It's great to hit home runs, and the truth of the matter is how it usually works, the home runs comes towards the middle and end anyway.
Right.
You're not usually, it happens sometimes, but you're not usually jacking a lot of home runs in the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Because generally the pitching is a little bit ahead of the hitters.
Right.
So at no point in practice are we talking about, we need you to hit a home run. It ain't happening. So I'm not worried about that at all. If we just go up there with the plan and hit like we do in practice, and I think that overall we'll do okay, and the power will come, and I'm proud of those guys. It's great to hit a home run, man. It is awesome, and I'm so proud that they got one. And as a matter of fact, that was David's second one, because the other one he had an inside the park home run.
That's right. Yep.
And it was legitimate too. So I'm proud those guys got the home run. But it's definitely not my concern.
And real quick before we go to break, we talked earlier to me and you this morning, messaging back and forth about the non-balk calls last night. The play where we had a ball, I think we walked or got hit by a pitch, and our runners rounded the bases and kept going. I think it was Hayes that went to third, never slowed down. Went to third, he went to the plate and scored. And they said that the coach had called timeout. Explain to me what your explanation was on that. I was that didn't make no sense to me, because you can't call a timeout when the players are still running until play is stopped. Is that correct?
Yeah, I believe the situation, it wasn't a hit batsman, because that'd be a dead ball, but I believe the situation was maybe a bunt and no one covered first base for them, so we were safe at first, and they were just kind of looking around like, what's going on, and then we continued to run. Well, after that guy got on first, their coach started to walk out of the dugout calling time. Mm-hmm. Well, in the meantime, we have base runners in between bases, right, that the play hasn't stopped yet, and the umpire granted him time. So the umpire, as soon as he throws his hands in the air, well, now you're in dead ball territory, because the umpire's called time. But you can't call time when runners are between bases. But he did. And so technically we can't score, because it's once his hand goes in the air, all play stops. And initially the home plate umpire said that the run scores, and then once he went back and talked to his partner, unbelievably, they overturned that. But that was true. He did throw his hands in the air, so that means play does have to stop. But play should not have stopped at that point. Umpire should not stop play until all players have either advanced or returned to the base, and really someone calls time. Yeah. I mean, the only way you can have time is if you call time. Mm-hmm. That there's no automatic timeout in baseball.
That's right.
So you have to call time for there to be time, and the coach can call time, and the coach did call time, but it shouldn't have been granted, because the players were still – there was still action on the field.
Well, and you proved me wrong on that too, because I told him, I said, if they overturn this call, Coach Marchman might lose it. But you proved me wrong on that one. So, and I thought I was right, because I thought I saw the same thing. I knew that our runners were in motion, and while they were in motion, I seen the coach come out and call time, and that's what it went from
Well,
there.
you know what? I've told these guys before. I've been thrown out of a game before, and I don't think I've ever been deserved to. So I definitely didn't want to get thrown out of that game. But to the umpire's credit, we talked about it, and I wasn't happy with the decision, but I did understand how the decision can't be how I want it.
Right.
So that doesn't really explain a lot, but just the way that things happened, what should have happened can't be, just because of the rules of the game. Regardless, if one rule was not followed and then the next one was, just because that first one wasn't followed doesn't mean we can't follow the second one.
Right.
So the last rule was that he did throw his hands in the air. When you do that as an umpire, that means all play stops, dead ball, nothing else can happen. So
we'll be right back with more with Coach Marchman right after this. Liberty Automotive is located in Folkestone, Georgia at 3488 2nd Street South. We're a full-service repair shop with multiple bays to handle anything from an oil change to a major repair. Call today at 912-496-0066 for more information. Justin and his staff can handle it all at Liberty. Liberty is a proud supporter of Charlton's youth.
Since 2009, Southeastern Automotive Group has been buying for and selling to most of the franchise dealerships in the area. What if you were able to bypass the big dealerships with the big markups? Buy direct from the supplier. Save thousands of dollars on your next vehicle purchase. Have a trade-in? No problem. With used vehicles in such high demand, Southeastern Automotive Group has dealers ready to buy your trade. If Southeastern Automotive Group doesn't have the perfect vehicle for you, using their vehicle locator program, they will have it shipped in without any hassle or haggling you hate. With over hundreds of thousands of cars available at auctions across the nation, your next vehicle purchase is just a click away.
Pier 6 Seafood and Steakhouse, located at 853 South 6th Street in McClenny, Florida. Steaks cooked to order, seafood just right, fish plates with all the fixings, hamburgers all the way, fries and more. Go see old Salty and tell them CSN sent you. Pier 6 Seafood and Steakhouse.
Walker Jones Chevy, expansive inventory, home of the lifetime warranty, and we'll treat you like friends and good neighbors should. Chevy, together let's drive. Walker Jones Chevy, Memorial Drive in Waycross, and online at walkerjoneschevy.com.
Bella Blue Photography, supporting our youth. 904-845-7776. All right, welcome back. Here's more with Coach Marchman.
All right, Coach, you got some paperwork in your hand right there. You got some things you want to talk about there that may be coming up here concerning the team?
Yeah, I just wanted to remind people of some dates. First of all, pork chop sandwich Saturday. I know everybody was hoping that we had a varsity game here that day, and I want people to know that we tried to do that. There was a mix-up with the location of Savannah Country Day and us about playing here or there, and we just had a schedule conflict there. And the same thing happened with Ware County, where schedules were made several months ago, and most of the time it's just text messages or emails, and it's just interpreted wrong, and that's what happened with Ware County. So with Ware County, I thought that date was penciled in because I'd sent that message to them without a response, and I should have waited for a response because we've been playing that spring break date for 4 or 5 years. So that was my fault. And then the Savannah Country Day one was, it just worked out where they couldn't we had already agreed to go to them for a game that year, and we'd been playing them one time a year as well, and they couldn't add an extra game on there to play us, and I looked for everybody to play us. I'd called so many Florida schools, Georgia schools about trying to get a team to come here on that Saturday so we could play a varsity game there. So we tried, and we'll do better next year. But I'm still so thankful for all the people who came out. It was great. It was awesome. It was a great atmosphere. And to be honest with you, JV team needs to play too. They got to play 2 games. They got 2 wins. I'm really proud of that. So pork chop sandwich Saturday was a success. Thanks to everybody who came out. And next year we'll be sure to have a varsity game on pork chop sandwich Saturday.
Yeah, every time I kept looking up here, during the game, after the games, or in between games, lines were long at the concession stand, so it seemed like it was a success.
Yeah, it was great, man. All those Booster Club people and Andy and all those guys cooking, Miss Jeannie and all that kind of stuff. We thank you guys so much. But also I wanted to mention we have added a game since we lost those 2 Ware games. We added Vidalia Heritage, which is a GISA school, and they will come here on April 15th at 4:30. So that's a varsity game at 4:30 on April 15th. We also had a rain out with Atkinson County, and we've rescheduled that game for April 18th. April 8th. That's the Monday we come back from spring break. And also, very proud of this. On March 29th, we'll have the 10-year reunion team from the 2014 state championship team. We're going to have those guys come out and recognize those guys between games, and I'm just super excited about that.
Yeah, that'll be the Friday night before Easter.
Yeah, love seeing those guys, and hopefully a bunch of them can come out, man, and just, it's hard to believe it's been 10 years. But we were able to do it for the guys last year from the 2013 team, and that was – man, that was great with Scott Beasley's dad and giving him that jersey, man. I will never forget that for as long as I live. It was just a beautiful
I was
thing.
out there with the camera. It almost brought me to tears.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah. And fortunately, we don't have anything like that coming up for the 14 guys. Just some celebration remember those guys for the great season they had. So that is March 29th, the 2014 state championship reunion team, and then also April 9th is youth night. And on April 9th, we want to see all the Charlton County rec anything, whatever you do rec. If you're an athlete in Charlton County and you're a part of our recreation department, we want you to put on your jersey and come out to the field and run out on the field with the Indians for that game. That's looking forward to that as well.
Anything as far as team-wise? I know that your team's always trying to do benefits or fundraiser. Anything coming to the team that's going on or something coming up in the future?
Well, the pork chop sandwich Saturdays, it was a big one. So once again, thankful for everybody who came out for that. Right now, we're pretty much done with our fundraisers for now. We just like people to come, and the best way you can support us right now is to come to the game and buy something from the concession stand. But we do have old jerseys that we have for sale at the games from past teams, and I think they're only $10. So it's pretty cool to get one of those, and also hats and shirts and things like that from this team. That's always a big help. But as of now, that's what we got going on for fundraisers.
Okay. Friday night doubleheader in Lanier County. It's going to be 2 big ball games, and just from the crowd noise we had this last night over here, we expect the same thing over in Lanier County. So all you Indian fans, pack it up and travel to Lanier County, and let's be louder than they are. You got anything else?
No, man, it'd be great to have everybody from Charlton County out there. It's going to be a good environment. You know, they're a good team who's only getting better, and we got our work cut out for them with those guys for the next couple of years. But we just got to go and represent ourselves well and play as hard as we can.
Sammy, Coach, thank y'all very much as usual. I appreciate it. Kind of let y'all run with it today.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
All right, man. We'll see y'all next time on the Coach Marchman Show.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.
Yes, sir.